guys, welcome back to the channel. Impossible Mowers here. Today I'm going to be doing a how-to video on how to take apart and take out the carburetor off of this John Deere power washer. I got this from Stanton. So it runs, but it kind of ran kind of rough. And what I mean is whenever it won't run without the choke, which is this guy. Let me try to get out on camera because it's a little hard to see, but right here, that's no choke, that's choke, and it only runs with choke on. And even when it does run, it doesn't run quite the best, which tells me either the carburetor's dirty, which is the thing right here, or there's an air vacuum leak, which in that case the gasket into the carburetor is worn out. Maybe it's just needs a new replacement. And usually what happens with a vacuum leak is it runs off of choke because it doesn't want too much air. So when you see the valve, I don't know if you can see it, but there's choke. It closes off the air coming in here and only accepts the air that's coming out from the blown gasket, which is the carburetor gasket, and that's how you get a vacuum leak. And when it runs kind of rough and it surges, it's the vacuum from the gasket not getting enough air, so the carburetor's not agreeing, making it run rough. And if it's just a carburetor thing, then it's well, I mean, either way it's a carburetor thing, but it could just be the carburetor's dirty. This was sitting for 11 years, and I got it started just by putting gas in it. And once again, this is a John Deere power washer. It's got the Honda motor, which I was happy to see because these things are tough. It says easy start on it, but it was not easy to start, that is for sure. So without any further ado, we're just gonna dive right into it. And with our stand here, you guys can actually get to see a little better of how it works. So okay, so right here we got 3 bolts to the carburetor we're going to take out. The extension's not necessary, but my drill, for some reason, won't get to it unless I have it. We're going to be using a 10mm socket. Zip these guys out. Carefully do it, don't want to strip any bolts. Come on, baby. Alrighty, that's what they look like. Don't want to lose these, so I'm going to put them in my tool bag so we do not lose them. And this is going to take off the air cleaner so we have access to the carburetor. Knowing Hondas, I'm betting you this is probably going to be a Mikuni carburetor. But if it's not, then it might be a Nicky. But once again, we really don't know until we dig into this thing. So first thing I see, mouse nest. Look at that. Right in there. And you can see the gasket in here is worn out. So I bet you that's where a vacuum leak's coming from. So we're going to want to take the air cleaner off using these needle nose pliers. Get kind of behind there. Push it back. We don't want that stuff getting into it. Actually, we didn't need the needle. Those kind of came out. Look at that. All that gunk. Mice probably got in here. Squirrels. Just nature. Makes it look like we got our wildlife preserve going on here. So the first thing I'm seeing in here is rust. Right in here. And when I got this, I noticed that it didn't come with a air filter cover, so we might need a new carburetor because it could be rusty in there really bad. But once again, we really don't know until we dig in. And it looks like it's a Mikuni. You can always tell if it's a Mikuni by looking at, oh, come on, focus. Here we go. The bowl here. Sometimes Mikunis will have that one bolt on the side and then that one bolt underneath. And most carburetors do have that. And of course the obvious way to tell is if you look on the side here, the casting, it'll say Mikuni, but I really don't know if it is one. So we're gonna check. So let me put the camera down because we're gonna have to get Our hand's ready. So what we're going to want to do is take the choke rod, the governor rod, and the throttle rod off. And so you just turn the carburetor like this. Always take the fuel line off first. That's like the biggest thing, because we obviously can't take it off if the fuel line's still attached. Actually, no, we're going to take the choke off first, because the fuel line is kind of hard to get to. This thing's kind of tricky. There's the gasket. Not too bad, but once again, it does look like it might need some replacing. Geez Louise, this is quite the challenge to get to. Grabbing the needle nose pliers out. Here we go, trying to see if we can wiggle that fuel line off. Just the dogs. Yeah, we got those dogs like, I don't know, a couple months ago. Fuel line's off. Now we can turn the carburetor. Choke comes off right there. And then we're going to take the throttle off, and geez, this thing just kind of comes off on its own. Right there. Sorry about that, guys. Camera cut out on me again. Died out of battery, but we're back with the carburetor. And I haven't looked at it yet, so I figured I'd save it for right now. So let me quickly get the stand up and going. Alrighty, so here's the carburetor, and the first thing I noticed is this gasket. It's looking pretty bad. I bet you that's where our carburetor issues are coming. When we're done with this, we're going to put it back, because we do not want the engine to get water inside, because then we'd be completely duped. But let's have a peek at what we're dealing with here. Once again, I haven't opened this up yet, so I'm actually kind of interested to see what we got. A little bit of gas. Oh yeah, look at that. Rust in the bowl. So we're going to take our little flathead screwdriver, this little guy, and we're just going to lightly scrape that rust off. Whew, look at all that gunk. Good heavens. I usually have my carb cleaning kit with me, but I have a friend of mine who's using that right now, so just gotta revert to this way for now. Basically what all, look at that. That's all old gas. That's been sitting there, and the rust tells me that there's water been in here. So this thing's been collecting pretty good. It's not too bad now, but it's all right. We're gonna take our little insert right here, this little metal clip, out, and that'll take the float bowl and the needle out. I like to hold mine 2 hands on the bowl, and then the middle finger or the pointer finger at the center of it, and easily take it out. The bowl's not looking too bad. Needle seems to be pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see that, but still pretty good. Not too bad. You know, for a carburetor that's been sitting, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. So once again, I don't have my carb cleaning kit with me, so it's pretty much all I can do. But I mean, it's not too bad. Not gonna lie, not too bad. So we're gonna want to put our needle back in. Put it in like this. Make sure it drapes just like that. Then slowly and carefully put it back in to the hole. Don't ram it in there because you don't want to get your needle stuck. Then you're gonna want to grab your metal rod thingy. I really don't know what those are called, but where did that go? I thought I put it on the table. There it is. This thing. I don't know if you guys can see. Maybe try to bring you guys into the shade here. But you want to take your carburetor and right there, this spot, carefully put your needle in. Once again, you can go in either way, doesn't matter. Might have to lift up the bowl a bit. Be gentle with it, these things are delicate. There we go. Needle is in. And to check for float bowl level, just take your finger and just go like this with it. See how it bounces? That's good float bowl level. That means that fuel shouldn't be having too much trouble coming in and out, because when the fuel comes in, the float bowl floats, of course, in the name, like that, and it allows the fuel to get into the needle and do its injection thing. So we're going to want to put our cap back in like this. Always make sure that this little screw right here is facing out toward the choke. The reason this is because if you're on the road, let's say you're doing a job and you're leaking fuel and you want to find out what it is, you want to have the bolt easy to access instead of having to take the carburetor off. So kind of like a quick access. Then put your nut back on. I'm using a 10mm wrench. You can use a socket, but of course you want these things snug tight. You really don't want to impact these or you'll strip them. Right there. On there nice and tight. And there you go. So now, bring this thing to the shade. We're going to want to put this back right in. And just for kicks and giggles, we'll try to see if this thing will start. I know it's got a bad gasket in it. But, you know, one thing I found out with these things is miracles can happen. Let me move into the shade because it's going to be hard for the camera to see, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, when we are back, we have our carburetor in hand. So always make sure that you have the carburetor sitting properly. And so for this, you're going to want to take your plate, and this side of the gasket, right here, has to go facing this side. So I'll show you what that means. Let me get the camera up because this is pretty important. Sunshine on us a little bit, but not too much. You want the plate to go on like that. Very important. So what I like to do, and this is just what I like to do. I mean, you guys might have different ways of doing it at your place, or some people might have different ways of doing it. But to keep this thing intact, because when you go to put it in, the plate might come out, is take the cover, just pull out a bit, and put your bolts through, the long ones, just the long ones, like that. Then on this side, oh, come on, go, take the carburetor and insert it carefully, find the right side, carefully insert it into the threads, just like, come on, just like that. Then take the plate, so we got this so far, take the plate and put that on, and once again this is just to get the gaskets and the carburetor on. So you should have that. Then flip it and slowly, carefully, slap it right in there. Oop, hold up. Forgot a step. My bad. Always looks good on paper. They're not wrong about that. Forgot we gotta slide the carburetor in. This is gonna be tricky, but we will try to get her done. Then it's kind of confusing, but once again, this is Honda, and I know they do their stuff good. Here we go. Then you're going to want to take that plastic. I'm holding it together right now. I forgot you had to do this, my bad. So hold up. Oops, hold up. Something came out. I don't know what it goes to. Got it. Okay. It's the bolt insert right there. This little silver thing. Okay, so now we're going to want to slap this guy in here. Make sure you don't have it upside down, so it's going to be like this. Flap her up. And you're going to want to carefully, it's definitely going to take two hands. I'm so glad we got the camera stand because it helps. One hand holding the assembly together, the other hand putting the bolts through to stabilize it. Hopefully, there we go. Bolts are in. Kind of, there we go. That's it. Oops. Throttle linkage might get in your way, so just keep that in mind. Boy, is this tricky. You know what we might just do instead, actually? Just gonna take the bolts and insert them into this carburetor. Once again, this is just for safety. We don't want anything happening to the motor while it's out, so that's why I'm doing this. Now it's going in. There we go. This is just to hold the carburetor in. And while the carburetor's in, of course, attach your choke rod. Let me get all this gunk out. Once again, this has been sitting for like, I think the guy said 12 years, maybe 11. So if it's kind of dirty, that is the reason why. Phone's going off. Alrighty, so with this, the one trick I like to do with this is just take one bolt out, leaving that one in there so it has a swivel. Then you can take your choke rod or whatever rod you want to use and slap it on in there. That's tricky. You know, this thing's tricky. So this is tricky. Okay. Haven't done these in a while, so. So we're going to try to put the choke rod in first. Then the throttle rod and the governor spring. I apologize, viewers, if you cannot see this quite well, but it is difficult to do even with just two hands. There we go. Just like that. Then I guess what we'll try to do is put the plate behind the carburetor now, like that. There's probably a Honda dealership that's having a heart attack right now. Okay. Slap it in like that. Definitely got to have the patience to work on this stuff, but this is kind of the reason why I like it, because it keeps the peace in my mind going. One potato, and can we get two? With a little persuasion and some effort, I believe we can. Hot dog, all right. Whew. Wow, what a workout. Right, so when you go to put the choke in, I wanted to do this so you guys can see it. This little plastic thing has to be sitting on this little nudge right here. Maybe we can get it, yeah, right there. Come on. Right there. That little rusty nudge right here. So, let's try to see if we can finish this puppy up. So now we got the carburetor okay, like in there good enough. Put the choke thing back in, like this. Choke is working. Sweet. Take the bolts out. This is going to take skill and precision at its best. So I am holding the carburetor together while at the same time I'm putting the gasket on the black plastic case. And it will hold, in theory. Everything should hold together. But once again, if things go sideways, then things go sideways, I guess. Yeah, be careful with those little metal sleeves the bolts go into. They're slippery. They can catch you off guard. So I'm applying pressure to the carburetor to keep it steady while I am applying the bolts. One bolt. Two bolt. Woo! We did it. We did it, guys. So now, before we bolt anything in, we want to, of course, attach the air cleaner back on. I gotta buy a new cover for it because it didn't come with one. And attach the fuel line back on. And those are very easy and simple steps. I can't show you those steps because it's hard to catch on the camera, but I'll get back to you guys when I'm finished with it. And we're back. Everything's connected. Now we're going to bolt back in our carburetor. So, these are the sleeves I was telling you guys about. these guys right here, they're tricky. But now we got our 2 long screws in, and cannot forget our small guy. Boop. Now we are going to take our impact, once again a 10mm socket, and carefully slap it in there. You don't want to strip these bolts. I like to get 2 ugga-duggas. Two ugga-duggas seems to do the trick. I call them ugga-duggas because it kind of sounds like it's me, but I don't know. And that is it, guys. That is how you take apart and clean out the carburetor on a John Deere power washer, or to be more specific, a Honda small motor